This is Aaron Noe with windconductor.org. I'm looking forward to sharing this next interview with you. A few weeks ago, I was doing some research trying to find resources for directors to develop some type of positive online experience for their students during the school closures. And I happened to come across a really great, brand new YouTube channel called the Hey Band Network. It was started by Chad Dempsey, who is the band director at Edinburgh North High School in South Texas. And what he's put together is a series of interviews with directors of all levels: middle school band directors, high school band directors, mariachi band directors, jazz directors, sharing ideas that are have been successful in their programs during the school closures. If you have not subscribed to the Hey Band Network, I highly encourage you to check out their YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you can see all of these great interviews. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Chad Dempsey. Chad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So, for people outside of Texas, tell us a little bit first about you, your background. Now, are you a Texan by birth? Is this born and raised in Texas, or are you an implant, or what's your story?
I am not from Texas. I grew up in Missouri, went to school at Kansas, and Texas band. I did some summer stuff in drum corps world, and all you ever heard was Texas band and Texas band. And so there was somebody I knew through the activity that had a job open, and I moved down to Edinburgh, Texas, not knowing where that is, which is 4 hours south of San Antonio. And I've been in this school program at the high school and the middle school feeder. I'm now at the high school. I've been here for 20 years.
Awesome. That's very cool. So, Missouri to Texas, was that a big change for you?
Yes. We're 98% Hispanic in our school and our population, and there's kids that speak Spanish at home, and lots of bilingual is normal. So when I was fresh out of college and teaching down here, you just walk through the hallways, you hear kids speaking Spanish. I didn't speak good Spanish, and so a little taken aback, and then you just realize they're just kids.
Yeah.
And they're awesome. It doesn't matter what hallway, they're just like kids everywhere. And
Yeah.
so it's wonderful.
That's awesome. So, the Hey Band Network, tell us the story behind that, because it's kind of a recent addition to what is out there for band directors. So, tell us about that YouTube channel.
So the Hay Band Network, the Hay Band is taken from football games where after halftime, the leaders go over to the other side and talk to the other leaders, drum majors. But a tradition in the state of Texas, you ask any band kid, is like, once they do that, the leaders will go up and introduce the drum major from the other side or band president. And they say, "Hey band," the whole band responds, "Hey what?" And you do that a couple times. They introduce their name and they say, "Hi." It's all about tradition and stuff people have done. And so, I was trying to put a way together to let's. There's some great ideas out there that seemed untapped and niche stuff. And so I thought we'd call it Hey Band Network. I would interview some Texas band directors, and we got a kick out of it and kind of smiled and laughed. And so that's where we kind of came up with a Hey Band and just tried to frame some things that would be good features for people to watch and listen to during the school closures.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I've been really impressed with the diversity of conversation that you've had in the videos. Like, for example, I was talking with a middle school band director. That's not really my background. I taught some middle school, but the vast majority was high school experience. And she was asking, what do you do with sixth graders in this type of situation where you're trying to find out how to teach in an online setting, these young beginners. And that's kind of when I came across your network. I saw the interview that you had with Dorena Kingston, and great interview, just a fantastic interview. But at the same time, the goal of this is not just to be in one specific age bracket, right?
Yeah, and it's the remote teaching series is just to give, this is what somebody does here. And in talking to people, they all think, well, I'm doing what everybody else is doing. And then they drop that gold nugget that's like, wow, man, everybody should know that.
Right.
Or learn about that or having a chance to. And then I talked to Corey Graves out of Roma Middle School, and same thing, and he's got a couple nuggets. And then Mario, I interviewed, that one just went up last week, and he teaches at a middle school in Brownsville. It's great. and he's on the hardware side, like the cameras and the lighting and the sound. And so there's that side. How do you make better videos for your kids? So everybody's got a nugget, no matter they think they're drowning in this or thriving in this. Everybody's got something that everybody can learn from. That's just getting this started. I've learned real fast on the remote teaching stuff.
Yeah, and it's and that's important because one of the things that you'll find out the more you talk to different people all across the U.S., all across Texas, is what one band director is doing in their program may not necessarily work in your band program. However, there is something that you can take away and make what you're doing better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like every conversation has been that. Where I'm learning as a teacher still, plus being able to share that with others, I think is kind of a neat thing to do too.
Awesome. So I pulled up the channel and I'm going to share my screen just so everybody can see it because it is a really great site. A lot of, and tell us how long you've been doing this because this is, like I said, this is fairly new, right?
This is I think this is the end of the second week of videos.
Okay.
Uh, and so like I had some ready to go before I dropped the first video, and Corey Graves was the first one. And Jason Rogers, those two were the first two in our two series. There's a leadership series you can see, which is talking about high school leadership student programs, like what's your format, how do you train them, how do you auditioning them now that things are closed, how do you use them in the fall when the marching season's over. So that's more geared towards high school leadership. And then the remote teaching stuff is, so we've done one every single day, I think, for the last 2 weeks. And we have stuff lined up to release anywhere 3 to 5 videos per week right now, as long as I'm at home and not in the band hall. I've got a little extra time to put into this and share what people are doing.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, like the longest one is 45 minutes. So I mean, this is something that if you need a breather from putting together the videos that you're putting together for your classroom, you can just kind of hop over here and pick up some really cool, like what you said, the little nuggets and what they have in the interview. Now, so you mentioned that you've been in the band directing world for 20 years now as a band director. So this is not something that anybody was ready to handle. It kind of hit everybody off guard. So I guess my question for you is, when this first started going on, what were some of the things that you did to engage the students? What were some of the things that you found successful? And then after you started talking to other directors in this format, how has that changed the way that you approach this online curriculum?
As the teaching, and it's myself, and I'm blessed. There's 5 of us on our campus, 5 band directors on our campus. And so we sat and said, what are our priorities on this? And with our population, it's lower SES, and some kids, they're only.
So I'm gonna stop you there. Just and just define that, just so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
Lower.
so our school, we are Title I school. We're 88% free lunch on
Okay.
our campus, and so a lot of our kids, they may not have Wi-Fi. We don't have a school device for every kid, electronic device, and so sorting out that challenge. The best some kids have is a cell phone,
Yeah.
and so we do everything to that. So knowing that information about our population. It's important to keep the kids engaged so they can see each other, try to be the normalcy of what they're used to. So have group settings of some sort where we see them, Zoom, and we've moved over to Google Meet now. We want to make sure we do things that are fun. We want to keep them playing their instruments. That was our only goals when we set this up, because knowing that not every kid would make it on, taking care of family members, not knowing the parent situation, or what they were going to have to do. And so we kind of started out with that. And so we just started doing stuff we're used to doing and stuff we'd been working on. Our UIL, our contest stuff, was next week. And so we had stuff that was rolling. So we recorded some of that individually so we could do some combined stuff and use that as grade material, since that's a challenge for all of us for that. And so we kind of moved past that part, and now it's just keep them engaged
Yeah.
at this point. And some of the stuff
I
people are doing is teach a lesson, teach a
before
lesson, and then do some
yeah
sort of evaluation on it.
before I want to dig into that about kind of the nuts and bolts of what you're doing. But you mentioned something, and I was talking to Joni Perez a couple weeks ago, right when schools were canceled, and it was in that first week of developing stuff, and she was uh, developing sectionals for her students. So with the Zoom platform or whatever platform she was using, and she mentioned in that conversation about the social aspect of the band program, and that kind of came up here. What, because that is a very important part. You and I both know we want to think that kids are in the band classroom because they want to play their instruments and they want to make great music, which they do. But for a lot of them, it is very much a social uh, identity for them in many ways. So, how is that being tackled in this setting for you guys?
It's just we do sectionals by we have three bands, and so our second, third bands we do by sectionals. We split them amongst the staff. And in the top group, we do same thing and split them up. And so that's one way. So they kind of see their friends from class that they see in the spring semester, and then we'll do like just the other day we had a full rehearsal for our meetup, not even a rehearsal, like a meetup with all three groups, and then we had a meetup for our seniors. We had one with the color guard today, so we get them in big groups just so they can see each other. And we'll do like bring your pet day or
Nice.
stuff, little things that make it a little more interesting for each other. And we'll just ask questions sometimes, what are you doing and how are you doing? And, what's something you miss? And they, the seniors, that's a tough one, but
Yeah.
those are real emotions. And what things do you miss seeing that were fun and make you laugh? That's when this is all done. If you can play another scale, that's great. But if you remember that you stay connected to the kids, we as a staff thought that was way more important than anything else to get our kids through this.
Yeah. And you know, it's important on a human level for the kids to have that connection and that bond. But when it comes down to it from a practical level, and for the sake of the program, having that engagement with the students, I mean, that is building and keeping the enrollment in the program and stuff like that as well. I mean, it's important on so many levels what you guys are doing with bringing in that social aspect of the program. I love the pet aspect. That's kind of cool and unique.
You ask me like, what else can we do? We need to do more days like that where you bring like more stuff, and it's like, yeah. And we do the social media thing with our band program, and it's like tomorrow is football Friday or bus ride Friday, so send a picture of going to a bus ride to a football game, and today's throwback Thursday, so put a picture up in your uniform from your freshman year.
Nice.
Just little things, and we run the band app, and so we've done that, and they can put them on either for that. Just trying to keep them to stay connected with their band friends, because that means so much all the other times of the year that we've got to find a way to keep that part for them. We think that's high on the list of priorities.
Yeah, most definitely. So, what are some of the social platforms that you guys are using?
We have our band program. Our main one is Instagram right now. We're finally getting that back up and running now that we need to recruit eighth graders and get those kids involved. I'm excited about high school band and not seeing them in our middle school feeders on a daily basis. So we do that. We use the band. Um, that's the main stuff. Now our color guard is super active on Instagram. Edinburgh North Winter Guard is real active. We have an indoor winds group, and so we've done some stuff through that. We're supposed to be on a bus headed to Dayton, Ohio right now as we speak on Thursday for World Championships. And so the winds is kind of active, but mainly it's just Instagram, and we use the band app internally for the group.
That's cool. That's awesome, and that's a great platform. That wasn't really around when I was teaching. I got out of the classroom in 2016, but I've gotten familiar with it because I do a lot of work with U.S. bands, do some adjudication, and it's a very cool app. And I met the guys down at TMEA when they had the booth set up. Very cool platform.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, we use it in all sorts of programs, not even just our band programs, our dance programs, our mariachi program. And it's like it's a good resource that has lots of options with it. And that's good for kids. And it kind of reminds them of social media, and parents can be involved, and
Yeah.
it's secure, and there's some protections on it that we feel good about. And our
That's
district supports it too.
awesome. That's very cool. So, you got into some of the social aspect of what you guys are doing, and we kind of got off on a tangent a little bit. But tell us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of what the classroom and the teaching aspect looks like for your program.
So you're talking about now in this environment?
Yeah, yeah,
So we do 40-minute sessions. We've learned it takes 4 minutes to get the kids in, just get them all online and ready to start. And we each run about 3 or 4. We meet twice a week in a sectional setting. We usually start out with some sort of video. So it's, some awesome YouTube video of a group playing or a soloist playing. And so we kind of get them while they're all rolling in. That's going. And then we do some of our fundamental warm-up stuff, and we've created some new warm-up processes that we use year-round, like the marching band warm-up. There's a brass warm-up. There's a woodwind warm-up. So we're just kind of in the process, starting things for next year while getting them the fundamental warm-ups. And then we'll do play-alongs with smart music. That free access has been great. So we just share that up on the screen, and kids are like digging in because they're on cell phones and playing along, which is cool. We've done YouTube. There's some YouTube stuff that has sheet music, and you just put them on mute and you just hope they're playing all the right notes.
yeah.
That's fun. We do little assignments. We've done a couple videos, OBS system, one my percussion teachers use quite a bit, and Ish Ledesma's used, one of the other assistants. With the upper brass, I've used Screencastify to make a couple videos. We just started a 2-week, we don't have a jazz band, so we started a 2-week jazz, just a rough basic series on how do you play jazz. So we got oboes and bassoons and flutes playing jazz and
Nice.
tuba players. And it's basic, it's real basic using essential elements. But smart music has all that stuff. And so that's been fun.
Yeah.
Um, and then we're headed in, I mean, after this, we're going to get some marching band music out. Who knows what that'll be, but we could start turning pages and audition music for kids, for whoever will turn those recordings in. Then we'll have some audition stuff for placement for next year.
Yeah. So, you know, I so a lot of great things there. A lot of there's already I can think of several nuggets that I could pull out from what you were just saying. How has doing the Hey Band network video interviews? How has that kind of caused your own experience to evolve? Your approach to what we're doing kind of evolved through the process.
Listen to everybody talk. Like, we can do this. It doesn't matter who you are. We can figure out solutions. Be patient. It's taught me patience. There's so many options out there, and you just pick the ones you feel like you can do. And so we've only picked the one, like the OBS thing, the online broadcast station. I think it is. I forget exactly. It's really cool, and I dug into that, and it was like overwhelming for me. That is not for me. Screencastify, I get that. That was easy for me. And so it's more of just like what works for you and your personality and your learning curve for that. And so that's what I've learned from this, talking to all these people, is just, find something that works, find a system, and then if you can add things around it to build that and make it better, great.
Yeah.
But just try only a few things. Don't overwhelm yourself. It is different times, and it is overwhelming, just the circumstance. So don't let technology push you away. And so that's what I've really learned on
Yeah.
the remote side, of just how to do this better.
So, on that, I've talked to a few different people about this new technology in the band field, and I feel like the running consensus is that, you know, we're almost experiencing a forced evolution in music education into the 21st century. And I'm curious to see, what is going to be the long-term impact of implementing the flipped classroom, the introducing these videos, the submission of videos, the use of these programs. Have you thought about how you're going to use these tools come the fall when we are all back in our normal routines and stuff like that, and what type of impact it may have on your program?
It makes me feel like I'm a dinosaur. That's what, like how we've done things. We've just been in the way we've done it. It's like, and we've done online pass offs and submissions of recordings and videos, but there's definitely another level that we've just missed. One of the great things is you make a video of teaching a kid. I got this from Mario Sarmiento. I'm in Brownsville, and he's like, I make a video, and we've done this a couple times for kids. You teach it in class, and then the kid goes home and they have the access to them. They're trying to figure something out. Well, they don't have to wait till the next day,
Right.
practice it wrong. They can go to that resource video or recording or whatever that is, and then they have access to that. And so I think that's one of our big takeaways, and then just being better at and doing more on the online pass-off stuff and submission stuff. But I think that creating resources for the kids to use when they're not in the rehearsal room, but they're practicing, that will help make them better. I think that's one of our big takeaways on this.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm really excited to see how this is going to be implemented, moving forward, because I think we're going to wind up seeing a lot of changes just in positive changes. I mean, when you think about it, how many band directors would have taken the time to learn the video editing or the Zoom aspect and learning how to record themselves and stuff like that?
And the meeting thing, let's talk about the meeting thing as a staff. Like, this is great. You don't have to leave your office, and you can set up a meeting from across campuses or vertical teams and stuff, instead of trying to get everybody with different. I mean, I think that's a big takeaway for this. I mean,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the teacher side, not
Right.
just the kid side.
Yeah, most definitely. So you mentioned a couple of things that I wanted to kind of circle back around, because I know this, especially this time of year, is on the minds of a lot of band directors. And you brought it up earlier when you were talking about the social aspect, or uh, the putting it on Instagram and stuff like that. You mentioned eighth grade recruitment. That's huge right now, and it is a scary thing for a lot of band directors going into the fall. What are some of the things that you're doing right now to make that a success for your program?
So it's having, we teach the kids. We go to those 3 campuses that we get kids from, and so they at least have seen us and are familiar with us. So 1, 2, getting all their information. So we use Google Classroom now as a district as of about a month ago. So now we have ways to use that to reach out to the kids. We're going to create an 8th grade class, and just trying to reach out to the students for that. It's kind of the biggest stuff we're on, and have a social media presence. I think is very important for anybody, because that's what
Yeah,
kids are on. I mean, we thought they were on their phones a lot previously when they were in school. It's even more.
right.
Just my own kids who are in middle school, like, it's, even doing their work, but they still scroll through and check that stuff out. We've tried to do some little fun things here and there, and kind of just show off what we do. And we had a TikTok contest, and so if somebody found out about our band TikTok, I mean, yes, and I participated. Stuff like that. Like, you just got to invest yourself into it. And we're still learning the 8th grade thing, and we're just kind of diving into. I know there's some people who really ahead of the game. What I have talked a lot about on the leadership side, and a couple of remotes, is the online audition process. Like, we have drum major tryouts tomorrow
That's
online.
awesome.
People have
What
done
does
it.
that look like?
So the trainings, we used to do them after school for the kids, and it's for a week. And so instead of after school, since they have online classes and they start at like 9 or 10 o'clock, we go 8 to 9:15 in the morning. So you want to be a drum major, you get up. And so we do the same training just through a video conference, and train the same skills. The difference is they submit videos of stuff. Some of the stuff we would normally do live. The lag is too much of a headache for some commands and some basic
Right.
stuff that we always do. And so they're going to go through the same process. They get 20 minutes. You come in, we're going to watch the videos. We're going to do the interview. They're going to conduct some basic patterns, conduct the music. They're going to teach the band directors. It's going to be our student teacher, who's awesome. James Bernal, he's great. And so they're going to have to teach us how to move forward or move backwards tomorrow in the audition. Sit and interview, answer a few questions, and we'll pick it from there. So there's some other people have gone through that. The auditions online is a challenge. The color guard stuff is a challenge that we're working through and trying to get all those things. Percussion, we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Um, there's a video that'll be up on Monday with Hector Heel, who's at Vista Ridge High School, percussion teacher, and the program's phenomenal. But he put a video out of 9 snare drummers, and he talks about how he got them all to, like, the drum line was set right before spring break, so they're out. And so how to use technology with those groups too,
Oh,
for
that's awesome.
that. Just right post auditions. Well, that's the next step. How do we get those things going? So I'm excited about that one because he's a great teacher, and some good tools of how do you, okay, now we got the auditions done. What do we do? We're between
Yeah,
now and summer band, how do we get them going?
that's
So those
awesome.
types of things. So we'll see.
No, it's great. I
What's
mean,
fun?
it's I love the resourcefulness that the band community has kind of absorbed, and nobody is throwing in the towel with their programs. Everybody's trying to find ways to move forward and not let this hold us back. And I think it's amazing. I am absolutely amazed at the band director community.
Yeah, it's like you find composers. There's the music resources. Dennis Fisher. He just retired from University of North Texas, associate director. Great. He's a friend of our program. Comes in once a year. We bring him in, clinic the bands, and so he was supposed to be in, and the time he was in was a week ago. And so I called him up and said, "Hey, can you make a short video? Say, hey kids, I would have been in. We'll do it again next year." And so we got a 45-second video from one of our regular guest clinicians. The kids absolutely love coming in. Um, and so instead of seeing them live, they still see him. They had that connection. That is, if you bring people in, if it's your crosstown band director friend that the kids know
Yeah,
that have been, like, I highly recommend it. That's just real value over the kids to see it from someone else, even in this environment. I thought
yeah,
that was a really cool thing. The kids really dug that.
that's awesome. So a little bit of 6 degrees of separation, a little uh, FYI. Dennis Fisher's granddaughter was a French hornist in my band in Virginia.
Yes.
And I used to love when Dennis and his wife would come and visit their grandkids, because I would always bring them into the band and, have a great clinic. And there was he actually came and did some workshops in conducting for one of the concerts, got to conduct his granddaughter in a concert. It was
Oh,
awesome. Yeah.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right, man. He is
He
way
is.
big time pro and great to the kids, and
Yeah. He is. And he's amazing at, as a clinician, as a conductor, and the wealth of knowledge that he has is just
yes,
amazing. He's a great guy.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And, thank you for putting this stuff up, because this is a resource that a lot of people are looking for, and you are hitting the nail on the head with a lot of these things and tackling a lot of the tough issues that everybody's thinking about. So thank you so much.
Well, no, it's just trying to help out and do what we're doing anyway, and share it with some others, and hopefully get something. And I've learned in the process too, like we all do when we start chatting with people at a conference or whatever. It's the same thing, except we don't have the time to go to a band hall and watch somebody rehearse or find out what they're doing. And so this is maybe the modern way of doing some of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, Chad, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your information. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in the program, and definitely thank you for the Hey Band Network.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me very much.